Champagne Hippy has so much more to offer. This is a great little area. You also have steps for getting easily in and out of the water. They were shocked and amazed by the quality of the rebuilds. Take Champagne Hippy because of her size.
What do you think of when you look at this yacht? Perhaps it's those clean, sharp exterior lines, or it could be the well-configured social spaces. I mean, look at that wonderful, welcoming cockpit. Or maybe you know that this is an Oyster, a premium British sailing yacht brand that's known for robust, blue-water cruising yachts that are perfect for sailing around the world in comfort and security. And she's exactly the right kind of size that a skilled set of sailors can manage her without a crew. All of these things caught my attention too, but there's a little more to this sailing yacht than meets the eye.
Welcome on board Champagne Hippy, an Oyster 825, and in fact the only Oyster 825 with an extended transom, which we will look at and talk about in just a moment. When I was asked to film this boat on behalf of Northrop & Johnson's Sean McCarter, who has listed this boat for sale for the owner, and he's also actually sailing the boat today because he really gets to know his products, he told me quite an interesting story about Champagne Hippy, and he asked that we touch on it in this video, but not dwell on it too much, and that's because, although this is a fascinating history, Champagne Hippy has so much more to offer aside from just this story. But what is the story? Well, Champagne Hippy was actually completely rebuilt, almost from scratch, because very many years ago, shortly after she was launched, she was subject to a keel failure and she actually foundered.
Knowing this information, I was absolutely shocked when I had my first look around. Unless you knew her history, there's absolutely no way you'd ever know that this boat was the subject of a salvage operation. Just look at this beautiful finishing, the solid carpentry, and the quality and maintenance that's gone into these soft furnishings. But there are other things that you don't see. When I spoke to Sean, he told me that the boat was rebuilt in the UK from the ground up, with the hull rebonded with a new construction technique, and she was redelivered in 2019 as an almost completely fresh yacht. And she was also built to MCA Cat 0 regulations. Now, in order to comply with that, it means that a yacht has to be able to sail extensive distances away from the nearest port or harbour. And these are some of the strictest regulations that a pleasure craft can adhere to.
Sean also told me that when surveyors came to inspect the boat, they were shocked and amazed by the quality of the rebuilds. They basically said it was over-engineered. And that doesn't come as a surprise to me. You know how when a plane suffers any kind of incident, the model is then re-engineered and that aircraft becomes one of the safest planes in the sky? I have a feeling it's the same story for Champagne Hippy.
I'm desperate to start showing you this boat and everything that makes her cool. But before we dive in, let's talk specs. Champagne Hippy measures 85 feet or about 26.2 meters. She was delivered in 2014, but was rebuilt in 2019 and extensively refit between 2022 and 2023 with a new aluminium mast, rigging, and major technical upgrades. She has a max draft of 9 feet 11 inches or about 3.3 meters, a beam of 20 feet and 9 inches or 6.3 meters, and a gross tonnage of about 80. This is a 4-cabin configuration for guests, plus 2 crew cabins. Construction is in GRP, and the design was completed in-house by Oyster to original sketches by famed sailing yacht designer Rob Humphreys. And if you're wondering specifically about her sailing pedigree, I'm told she is very easy to handle, and as I mentioned earlier, she can be sailed by a competent owner-operator. She has in-mast furling that's operated hydraulically, and the sail wardrobe is by Danish company Elvstrom, and they were all added to the boat in 2023. I especially love this extended transom, which I promised that we'd talk about.
So what you usually have here is a passerelle that comes down to the swim platform here. This is a great little area. You also have steps for getting easily in and out of the water. And what they've done with the garage behind me is they've actually relegated the tender storage to the front part of the boat, to the foredeck, and left this as an area where you can store toys, but primarily as a kind of add-on to this area here. So when you're coming out of the water, you can grab a new toy, grab a towel, and it adds a really nice layer of flexibility and versatility to this space.
Other alfresco areas include the cockpit. Here you have a recessed forward zone for dining and relaxing, and an aft section where you can obviously sail the boat from. But also when the boat's at anchor, this becomes a lovely relaxation area with these loose furniture items. All of this is shaded by a bimini. Then you have the Dodger forward, and both of these things add a little bit of usability. Even further forward, the foredeck is another area that you can enjoy. It's set up with this nice hammock that I can absolutely imagine lying out and relaxing in, just swaying in the breeze as Champagne Hippy idles in a beautiful anchorage.
And speaking of beautiful anchorages, it might be worth noting here that you're not going to be terribly restricted on where you take Champagne Hippy because of her size. She's not terribly long, she's not terribly wide, giving you access to most of the pretty ports and bays around the world. And that means you have a really wonderful selection of itineraries at your fingertips. So you can travel around safely, reasonably quickly, and with your whole family by your side. And Champagne Hippy's performance has been put to the test many times before. She's crossed the Atlantic several times, and she also competed in the ARC Transatlantic. She did it in just 15 days, I believe. She finished in 13th place and became the first oyster across the finish line.
Stepping inside, the salon is bright and airy, with wraparound salon windows and a portside dining area, comfortably seating 8. There's also a seating area opposite, and both sides feature integrated shelving that forms extra storage. Alongside the sofa is a navigation station for simple access to the controls, and just down some steps, you'll find a coffee station on one side and a wine fridge on the other. Now we come to the guest areas. So you have 4 cabins, all en suite. In the widest part of the boat, you have a full beam master cabin at the aft with a private study and an ensuite bathroom. There's a double guest cabin to starboard, a twin guest cabin to port, and a final guest cabin just forward of the salon. As you can see, there's some lovely lighting, delicate wood detailing, and elegant marble touches in here, as well as all the mod cons you may need. I also noticed these seats which double as storage, and these are personalised with the name of the yacht and are also designed to look like champagne corks, and I thought that was cute. Let's check out the crew areas. Here we have a large captain's double and 2 additional crew bunks sharing a dedicated head and shower. As I said at the top of this episode, if you're a family sailing this yacht and you felt competent enough, you could sail the boat yourself, but it is nice to have the crew option. And then you have the galley, where we see more of the marble countertops, a meal induction hob and electric oven, and top-of-the-range appliances for easy food prep. Like most sailing yachts of this sort of size, the galley is a kind of hybrid guest crew area. And one of the last rooms I'll show you before we go back up on deck is the engine room. Champagne Hippy has one Scania D109 350 horsepower engine and 2 Onan generators. One is at 22.5 kilowatts and the other is 13.5 kilowatts.
It is so clear that in this current period of her life, Champagne Hippy has been so well taken care of. In fact, her owner even said that he didn't want to give up on her. He wanted her to have the chance at a new lease of life, and he poured so much time, energy and love into making this the perfect vessel. And one thing I don't think I've said yet is that she's actually a little bit of a charter star. So if you were to pick her up, you might be able to offset some of your costs by putting her back on the charter market. If you want to find out more about Champagne Hippy, the person to get in touch with is, as I said at the top of the episode, Sean McCarter. He knows this boat inside and out, he's sailed her many times, and he will be able to tell you everything that you might need to know about Champagne Hippy. So we will leave his details on the screen and down below, and you can reach out to him directly. And I have absolutely no doubt that the person who picks up this boat will be getting a remarkably accomplished boat and probably the most resilient oyster ever built.